views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Wow, everybody. Welcome. It's so great to be connecting with all of you. What an amazing time. What an amazing time. It just absolutely, energy is shifting all over the planet. Now, sometimes we look at this and we think maybe not. You know, Pat, what are you talking about? You must be living under a rock or something, right? But you know, there is an interesting idea about what's happening in the world. And, you know, part of this, if you look at it, is we're starting to see changes and shifts in energy and opportunities. And the question mark is going to be for us, what is it we want to shine our light on? Shine on Radio with Kelly joining me here today. Find your shine. Today, Kelly Wilder and I are going to talk about diving into 2016. And why? Because we've got the Shine On Girl here. Now, for those of you that, have not absolutely met my friend Kelly, here's the thing that you want to do. This is really what I love. When I get to see somebody emerge like Kelly and emerge with an incredible idea, which is the Shine On movement. You know, she is somebody that can celebrate life with you, can help you celebrate life. And more importantly, to take a look at how she does this so that we can be brilliant, that you can get to know what your light is, how to appreciate yourself, self-love. She's focused on holistic nutrition, empowerment, career building, physical health, and much more. Because today the world we live in really does require us to be confident, energetic, to appreciate ourselves, and to shine. That's what Kellyanne Wadler is all about. She is in charge of and is the Shine On Girl. And what she's done is said, look, there is a movement afoot. Are you ready to join it? And the answer, I'm telling you, it's yes, yes, yes. Who does not want to shine their light in this world? Kellyanne, great to have you here. Nice topic for today. Amazing. All right, what does diving into 2016 mean? And welcome to the show.
Thank you. Always a absolute pleasure to be here. I look forward to our monthly chats. Diving into 2016, I think highlighting exactly what you just said, that the world we live in right now, if we take one route, can seem like a pretty terrifying, scary, what's going to happen place. But on the other side of the coin is this change, this ripple effect, this sort of shifting that's happening of consciousness, I think, about what the big point really is and what we're really here for. And, you know, all of this wasted time that we can sometimes have if maybe you are guilty of maybe bullying your own self around or not following maybe some of the dreams that maybe you truly want to be following. The time is now to dive in. And I think 2016 is going to be a big year of manifesting dreams and visions and intentions that maybe we've been too scared or not sure of reaching and grabbing.
Yeah.
So my intention today is talking about letting go of resolutions and talking about what it really will mean to dive in and celebrate who you are in this next coming year.
Well, let's talk about this and say what this means to set intentions, because you're right? I mean, I don't know about you, but let's talk about what we've done that has not worked for us. If we could kick it up a little bit and start out there. People have said to me time over time, Pat, you always talk about all the great things, but have you ever had any rough patches in the road? Have you ever, stepped in potholes that you couldn't get out? Well, Kellyanne, I created crust busting. You created Shine On Movement. I don't think that we popped up and created these because everything in our life has been great. What have you learned in your life so far about what does not work around the new year?
Yeah, great question.
Kelly's like, yeah, right.
Well, I have a lot to say on this. I find that New Year's Eve resolutions or making resolutions for the new year is similar to saying I'm going on a crash diet, because sometimes it sets us up for, all right, well, I'm going to not do such and such ever again. And that's just really hard. In order to make positive changes in our life, it's a step-by-step, piece-by-piece, sometimes baby step at a time journey, and that's okay. So in terms of rewiring the new year in terms of resolutions, I say it's all about the intentions. Now, to answer your question about, do you ever hit potholes or things like that? Of course. One of my favorite quotes, and I hope I don't butcher it, is by Winston Churchill, and he says success is, jumping from one failure to the next without any loss of enthusiasm. And part of following your dream is kind of falling down. And that's okay, because what you learn from falling down, or what you learn when you get in that pothole, is, okay, that didn't work, but I'm going to try something else. And it's usually not necessarily something, well, you're a failure or you can't do it. It's just that one thing didn't work out, but look at all the other things that you can try. And I think it's important to remind yourself that we shouldn't, or we should try not to, give up the first time we stumble. Because when you're following a dream, it's part of the process. You're going to stumble a lot. But if you have that inner confidence that you got this, or that the universe is pointing you in a way that you're supposed to be on this earth for, then things are going to slowly but surely start coming your way. But I do know that feeling of being stuck in the pothole and, how the heck am I going to get out of this thing? But again, it's okay, I'm here. I'm probably have to learn a lot from why I'm here. What's around me? Can I change my perspective a little bit? And how do I dig myself out? And another thing about the potholes, and I once read this from the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying, and it stuck with me forever.
Yeah.
And it brings up the idea of getting stuck in a hole. And they call it the autobiography in 5 steps, where pretty much, 1, you walk down a street, you fall into a hole, you didn't see it, you have no idea how you got there, and it takes you forever to get out. Step 2, you're walking down the street, you fall into the same hole. You almost knew, or maybe had a memory that it was there, but you didn't see it coming. It takes you just as long to get out of the hole. Step 3, you're walking down the street, you see the hole, you walk in anyway. Takes you a really long time to get out as well. Step 4, you're walking down a street, you see the hole, you walk around the hole. Step 5, you walk another street, or you take another street.
Yeah.
And that's change. Sometimes we have to learn the same mistake a few times to really get it, and that's okay. But that's also creating and following your dream. Sometimes, you're going to walk into the same hole, but it's all what you learn from it until you take that next street,
Well, this is really kind of what what the Shine On movement is all about.
Right.
It's looking at ways to walk around the pothole.
Right.
And isn't it funny? You and I, kind of grow up in the same place, and there's nothing, there's no greater metaphor in in New York City than to be talking about potholes right now. Right? And definitely after the winter, we will definitely be talking about them more. But the idea is to be able to look at ourselves where we are right now and lay this game plan out. And this is what the show is about today, right? It's to lay the game plan out where we can set up a vision for ourselves. You know, so often we look at ourselves and then we say, wow, coming into the new year, I'm going to give up this. I'm going to give up that. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. And how does that work for everybody out there? How has that been working for all you guys? Have you had much success with coming up with your list of what you're not going to do to start the new year? When we come back and talk about what does an vision, what does an intention mean? And, you know, why is it so important to reflect on the year that we're in now? And is there a how-to related with all of this? Kellyanne Wadler joining me here today, Shine On Radio, diving into 2016. Anybody out there want a little help? 1-800-930-2819. Take a short break, everybody. We'll be right back with the show.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
The 24th Annual Women of Wisdom Conference, United We Change the World, is February 11th through the 15th. Featured guests are Dr. Christine Page on Creative Dragon Energy. Dr. Susan Shumsky will show you how to awaken your third eye, and join Mira Kelly for a 2-day intensive workshop on Beyond Past Lives. Join WOW for intimate, experiential, life-changing workshops and evening presentations that will inspire you. Early bird weekend passes Friday evening through the Monday banquet are available at a special low price through December 7th. Join a supportive community of women on their journey to discover and develop their passions and purpose in life. Women of Wisdom is the place to be this February 11th through the 15th. Go to thewowconference.org. That's the WOW conference.org to discover all the diverse offerings WOW has to offer you. See you there.
A morning filled with dynamic, inspirational music, spirituality, and uplifting messages by T.J. Woodward. Come and connect with community conversations and awaken your senses. Awakened Living Sundays with T.J. Woodward. Join T.J. every Sunday in the San Francisco Bay Area Chapel at Fort Mason and live streaming online 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Pacific Time. To learn more and access the live stream, visit www.awakenedlivingsf.org.
Awaken to your radiant, authentic self. For over 15 years, Soul Purpose Advocate Nancy Monson has been focused on leading change in the lives of those looking to live their true purpose. She is devoted to supporting people in living a soul-directed life every day. Let Nancy help you overcome fear, worry, and doubt. Visit everydayspirituality.com to learn how Nancy can be your Soul Purpose Advocate.
The Doctor is in. Tune in to the hit show, The Psychic Love Doctor, with host Deborah Lee. Deborah's life-affirming, highly perceptive reading method has taught Deborah how to zero in on specific problems with relationships, career pursuits, and current roadblocks to success and happiness. Join Deborah Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific, and for a special broadcast the second Thursday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Show me where to look, tell me what it will like by. What will it like by? Lay me on the ground and fly me in the sky. Show me where to look, tell me what it will like by. What will it like by?
everybody, I want to tell you a lot about Shine On Radio with Kelly. I totally want you to plug into this. Find your shine. And we're talking about diving into 2016 with the Shine On girl joining me here today. I'm excited for a radio show. I'm excited what she's doing. You know, we've got a lot to talk about today during the holidays, and she's got some really, really cool things she's offering to all of you out there. And we'll tell you in a little bit what we're going to give away live on air today. But really important to get plugged in. Kellyanne, tell us a little bit about the best way for people to find out more about you. And also tell them what you got coming up here before we jump back into 16.
Yeah. Well, speaking of 16, so Shine On Radio is going to have their own radio show on the network, and we're so pumped. And that show's going to air every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific time and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's going to be an amazing show, sure to inspire. I'm bringing so many guests, lots of female entrepreneurs and small business women who have followed their dreams. And the show's all going to be dedicated to helping others celebrate who they are and then also be inspired to follow their own dream. So that's coming up. That's going to start January 4th. So speaking of 2016, it's going to kick off the year right in that first week on that first Monday. So we're really excited. And to stay in touch with me and to continue learning about this show, check me out at my website, which is shineonwithkelly.com. You could sign up for my newsletter there, but you can always personally email me at kelly@shineonwithkelly.com, and I spell Kelly with a Y. Some people do it with an I or an IE, but it's a Y for me. And then you can find me on social media, on Instagram at Twitter at the Shine On Girl, and on Facebook at Shine On Wellness. And always connect with me. I love talking and meeting new people. Send me a message. You're sure to get an answer.
I love it. And, you know, some of this is really in the spirit, and, well, actually all of it is in the spirit of what is happening in the world of unlimited possibilities. You know, some people say, Kelly, you know, we take a look at the energy and, you know, how horrific some of the things are in the world. There's also a contrast to that. You know, there are some of the most amazing things happening on the planet right now, but sometimes we focus so much on what's not happening or how scary the world is that we forget to shine a light on the courage, you know, the courage of a 13-year-old to start a campaign to end childhood slavery. I mean, it's really fascinating when we step back and we think about what it means to step out with the dream. Very fascinating movie coming out in December that Jennifer Lawrence is in. It's called Joy. And, you know, to think about what's possible requires us to think about who we are and what we need to do. So tell us, how do we look at the year that we've just had in preparation for setting a vision of moving forward?
Great question. So I'm all about this. I'm about doing this exercise really in all points of the year when I work individually with a client. But since this new year is coming, this exercise is perfect. So what I do and what I love to do with my clients is create a list of what genuinely felt really good about this last year. Maybe it was certain habits, maybe it were certain risks that you took, certain job opportunities that you liked, that date you went on, that friendship, whatever it is, what felt really good to you in this last year, make a long list. All right. And see what it was like, really see what you have lived in this last year that, you know, felt really juicy. And in the same respect, you're going to write almost like a T-chart, what didn't feel good, what you know isn't working for you, what you know you continuously do that maybe is a habit that doesn't feel good. It hasn't felt good for a long time. So, you know, for example, on my own list, which I always go to, you know, if I overdo it on coffee, I know I don't feel good. If I don't meditate every day, I can be a little a little neurotic. If I don't exercise in the morning, it's really hard for me to get it done at any other time. So just consciously making a list of what feels good and what doesn't, and specifically tying it to this last year. We can all look back and say, okay, yeah, I'm definitely doing this. I'm not sure how to change it yet, which is okay, but I'm going to make myself aware of it by writing it down. So maybe you late night eat and you know it's not serving you and you know you're not physically hungry. So that's something that you're going to put on and put on your list as, okay, I'm going to maybe set an intention or slowly but surely create the steps that I need to heal that relationship to food for the new year so that you're aware. So that's 2 of them. So what feels good, what doesn't. And then you can add on to what you want to dream up. So what would you like to try for this new year to come? You know, what would you want to dare to do? And maybe it's something that won't necessarily happen this next year, but it could happen the year after or whatever. There's such a power to writing things down. A lot gets trapped in our head space when we're just thinking. You know, there's tons of ideas up there and there's tons of old stories up there and there's a lot going on. But when you sit down and take some time, light a candle, get a cup of tea, put on a great song or a Pandora station that you love or Transformation Talk Radio, whatever it is, and sit down and write out this list from yourself. You'll find a lot. And then the last thing that I would add to this list of reflection and then setting some intentions or what you want to try is what I'm ready to let go of.
Yeah.
You know, what I'm ready to say sayonara to. I've learned so many of the same lessons about this, and I'm really setting the intention, meaning I'm really going to try to do this for this next year.
Yeah. And let me ask you a question about this, because sometimes we think it's a thing, right? Like it's something that we got to like put our hands around.
Right.
But you're also talking about, and maybe you can help with this a little bit. You know, I was at a meeting early this morning, and I had somebody that was talking about something, and he went on to say, you know, well, my wife wants me to do this, but honestly, I can't afford it. I can't afford that. I heard I can't afford it so many times. My ears were just killing me about it. And so can't we also agree to ourselves to let go of a way of thinking about something? And the reason I'm asking you about this is because, look, we are taking the network to 10 positive talk channels. Somebody asked me this question, Kelly, so I want to ask you. Who cares about positive conscious talk? Now, we know some things about this, don't we? Mm-hmm. So can't people change a way of thinking as part of this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's definitely a place for negativity. I think that, you know, I'm not saying all negative thoughts are bad. Of course not.
Me either.
But what I am saying is that there are certain thoughts that play like a record in our heads that are irrational and are not true and are not serving us and are keeping us back from living a life that we want. And in those thoughts really require some rewiring, some positive rewiring. So for the example of I can't afford it. Well, of course you're never going to be able to afford it if you constantly believe that is true about your life, because that's the thought process that you've created as true, what you think you become, right, in some ways. So if I'm leading my life, I can't afford this, I can't afford that, then there's some weird money energy that's going on with me that it might feel hard to be compensated in a lot of places because I'm giving that off myself. Energy is very, very powerful. So in a different respect with, you know, some women that I come into contact with, me once included in this, has a lot to do with your worth. You know, well, I'm not worthy of such, or I don't deserve that, or I can't meet a guy because, or whoever, or a partner because I'm not attractive enough. And these are all thoughts that are not true and need to be rewired, and can be rewired with positive thought, even if you don't believe it the first time you rewire it, because none of us do. You're going to say, okay, my thought that I'm hearing is I am worthy, and the bully in my head is saying, ha ha ha, no, you're not, until you constantly practice and tone that muscle. So again, I'm always like, if I get the money woes, or I can't afford it woes, or you're not good enough woes, it's okay, thank you for sharing. I'm going to rewire this to, okay, maybe I can, or no, my worth is infinite. I know that. So yeah, I think there's such a power in positivity, and why it's so essential now. As we discussed in the beginning, there's a huge shift coming, and we can feel it. You feel it, right? Yeah.
Not only am I feeling it, well, let's talk about this when we come back. You and I were chit-chatting during the break, and I was telling you that I got a belly button birthday coming up here, which is, my birthday here on Friday. And, one of the things I love is I'm not a big celebrate my birthday kind of girl. I really am not. And yet I have been really struck right now by this idea that shifting is happening, because we've already seen it within the past, I'd say, since the first of the month, maybe a little sooner, maybe after Thanksgiving-ish, but things have changed incredibly in an expansive nature. I'm not saying I understand it, but I just want to know, is this from a group or a collective consciousness that we can create? And what is this idea about being able to capture a vision? When we come back, Kelly is going to take us on a journey. What do we believe? How are we going to create it? Maybe she's going to share a little bit about what she wants to bring in. Maybe I'll share a little bit about what I want to bring in, or maybe she'll help me figure it out, because you know what? Sometimes I'm lost, but I can be found. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back, everybody.
Shine On Radio. Find Your Shine with Kelly is the show that celebrates what makes you, you. Join co-hosts Kelly Wadler and Dr. Pat Basili as they break down how to brilliantly fuel and move your body and love what makes you shine. Kelly is a professional arts and wellness coach dedicated to helping brilliant women find their confidence, energy, self-love, and shine. Tune in to Shine On Radio with Kelly and find your shine on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Transformation Talk Radio is dedicated to the education and awareness of Lyme disease.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Lyme Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Pat, joined here by
Dr. Nusheen Darvish.
Dr. Pat Basili and Dr. Nusheen Darvish will be bringing the most innovative, groundbreaking information, research, treatment innovations, and stories from those it affects every day.
I'm so excited to be talking about this.
We have so much to share.
Dr. Darvish and I are planning to do is connect the dots.
People suffering with all sorts of chronic diseases, it's time. It is time for them to transform.
Tune into Lyme Talk Radio and help keep our mission strong.
For the loyal listeners out there that have been listening to this incredible show on Lyme disease, we are not going to let you down. We're going to come through stronger and enrich the platform for Lyme disease awareness through Lyme Talk Radio. The message will continue, the conversations will become stronger, and the healing epic.
Are you ever consumed with the idea that something needs to change? You hear Oprah and other inspiring people talk about living your authentic life, and yet it's much easier said than done. Duda, the kick-ass muse, has crafted a world-renowned coaching platform that will help you get clarity on the issues you face, take bold risks, get back your confidence, and brave your fears. To learn more and work with Duda today, visit kickassmuse.com.
Have you been seeing numbers like 111 and 222 everywhere you go? Do you feel that the universe may be trying to get your attention, perhaps offering a message of some sort? As it turns out, numerical patterns in certain types of geometry form the very fabric of our reality, from cells under a microscope to the astronomy of our night sky. At Stellar Reflections, we offer special sessions which tap into these patterns, designed specifically to support you on your journey. The 111 and 222 activations are sessions activating new patterns in your energy field, which in turn can help you create new patterns in your life. After just one session with a practitioner, either in person or via distance, clients report gaining greater clarity, becoming more intuitive, and honoring their inner truth as they move forward in their lives. Curious about what these transformational sessions might do for you? Call 425-999-9836 or visit stellarreflections.com. That's stellarreflections.com.
What are vibes? We often use this word, but did you know vibes can actually be useful and help solve our everyday challenges? Embark on an exciting learning journey with Caitlin Keat, 11-time Visionary Award winner, specialist in vibrational energy, and the creator of Vibes Up. Join Caitlin as she takes you through the world of vibrational therapy and energy healing, with natural solutions for a modern world. Visit vibesup.com to learn more today.
Wow. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Kelly Wadler joining me here today, founder of Shine On Movement. She and I are talking about how to let go of resolutions and instead create visions and intentions for the new year. And, you know, there's a reason to go about this and do this. And we'll, you know, Kelly's going to tell you a little bit about why. But right now, this is kind of fun. For many of us, we've never had anybody really help us with setting up a vision for an upcoming year or an upcoming energy. We've never really, had people that we thought, wait a minute, let me go get some help. Now today I have many people that I go to, I can call upon. So does Kelly. So, for you out there, 30-minute New Year's intention plus call plus New Year's intention worksheet to help you map out your big dreams and desires for 2016. We are going to give one of those away right now to the first caller. Are you ready? Are you ready to set an epic intention for this coming year? 1-800-930-2819. 1-800-930-2819. And we got a challenge coming up for some folks here. I don't know about you guys, but sugar and pasta and grains, and I'm Italian, there's just no way to say no sometimes. So, Kelly, you're putting it together. You're very busy. Tell folks again what you've got planned for 2016.
Yeah, with my holistic nutrition background, I find that a lot of people come the first Monday in January will start a big crash diet of some sort. And I found that the best way that I can connect with my community and tribe of followers is in terms of nutrition and to create a group is to do a sugar and grain pain challenge. Because if there's one thing that we probably did not deprive ourselves of in December, it's sugar and grains. And that can probably leave most of us feeling pretty darn bloated and lethargic and, maybe a little moody come January, which makes some people want to crash diet. So each January, I run this 10-day challenge where a group on Facebook, I create a group on Facebook, and together we send all of our recipes, and it's chill. It's no one's going to slap you on the wrist. It's not you can't eat this, you can't eat that. Let's lay off the sugars, let's lay off the grains for 10 days and see how you feel. If you have if you have some whole wheat bread one day, no one's going to be upset with you.
Right.
So what's included in that is a meal plan and a shopping list and a meditation, exercises that you can do, daily email, and the closed Facebook support group. So it's really great. If you want more info on that, just message me at Kelly@shineonwithkelly.com, and I'll get you all locked and loaded, ready to go for that.
I love this. Locked and loaded and ready to go. I mean, I want to talk to you about this. Let's get into this now about this idea of letting go of some of the habits and creating a vision. We talked quite a bit about letting go. And now here we are. Look instead of making a resolution, how do we talk about this? What do we do? How do we talk about like this vision. And here's a question for you, because I have the same question for me. A year ago, when I was contemplating this, I am shocked what I did not know about what was going to get created. I am shocked when I look back. I'm not saying that this has been all like peaches and cream, or how about apple pie with some ice cream on it. But boy, the expansive nature of what I've had to do to grow is indescribable. How about you? A year ago, Kellyanne Wadler, where were you?
Whoosh. Okay. This 2015 for me, talking about potholes, it's amazing to think back. So to be really transparent to everybody who's listening. So yes, I have created a growing and thriving company with I think a pretty awesome mission. But with that, it's not always rainbows and bunnies every day, you know? There is a lot to it. And I have to say that I really hit a glass ceiling in the beginning of last year in terms of languaging exactly what I do and where my company was growing and how I was going to break further out to grow more, because I was very much had something created within the community that knew who I was, which was in my vicinity in the New York tri-state area. But I was ready to spread this mission out really wide. And, you know, I think it was a coaching experiment that I did with my own coach. And I also invested in some business schooling for myself, where it asked, you know, in what ways do you want to see yourself growing? In what way do you want to have another service in your company? Mm-hmm. And, you know, so I have a coaching practice. I also have a youth program that goes into schools, but I wanted something that could reach a large audience of people that wouldn't be of charge to them, you know, at all. And I had that in my head in the beginning, but I had no clue what it was going to be. I knew I loved radio. I kind of set that out to the universe. Lo and behold, I wrote something that got, you know, some exposure on Mind Body Green and got me in touch with this network. So it all happened. So it happened while I was at a really tough low, where I had those big bad questions of like, why are you doing this? This isn't realistic. You're not going to survive. You know, you're not being responsible. And then little trinkets would come my way that would just shatter that, you know, all of those things. So I definitely had my own ups and downs, and that'll continue no matter what as you're growing. That's what growing's all about. If it were just so easy, then, you know, we'd all be doing something that we'd wanted to do. But the struggle is part of it, and it's so worthwhile. And I don't even want to call it struggle. It's just challenge. It's challenges.
Yeah. I love what you're talking about, because I really get to look back too. For those of you out there, we have a fabulous 30-minute session with Kelly for you guys out there. First caller, 1-800-930-2819. First caller. It is so important for us to get some help. I know that it's important for me to get some help, and I work it a lot. You know, right now what I'm doing is I'm working to set the stage for, you know, growing even more personally and otherwise. I wanted to ask you a question about this idea of visualization. I know we look at the past year, but now where we are is creating the vision. Tell me how I can learn to play to win and not play not to lose. Because so often, right? I'm not going to mention the Seahawks because they played to win this weekend. But so often we play conservatively. Tell us about Shine On.
Yeah, you know, that's a great question. And in terms of creating visions, it's about going for it without the fear of failing, or not even fearing, just being at peace with it might happen, but it doesn't justify what I'm doing here. It's simply a little pothole that I must need to learn from. It's not implementing that I'm doing something wrong. It's just I'm learning. So in terms of visualization, there's a lot of fun tips and exercises and tools that you can do in your own life.
Well, tell us a couple of what they are.
Yeah.
Tell us what we can do, because I don't think I'm an anomaly. I don't think I'm like, I don't think you and I represent sort of the minority of people. Everyone and we have the best listeners on the planet. So I just want to say this to everybody out there. We do. And now finally, this group of folks on the planet are starting to get acknowledged for who they are. And what I love about our listeners, because that free session that you gifted, that went away in a hot second, that I didn't even see how quickly it's gone. But we want to grow. We want to change, right? So this for me is so wanting to appreciate, be grateful for what we have. But some folks think, Kelly, man, you should be grateful for what you have. Just kind of like sit there and enjoy it. But you can be grateful and abundant at the same time.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Everyone's going to have opinion on everybody else's life. And the most important thing, if we're talking about these tools and tips, is here's my first one. A great meditation that I do, or a great big thought that I sit down with myself, is this. I think about, if money didn't exist, or if it didn't matter anybody else's opinions about what I should be doing in my life, what would I do? What makes me feel good? What's fulfilling? What feels right? And I knew, I actually had that come to me when I was not feeling so good. I remember having a moment where I was like, well, I think that the only thing that makes me feel good, and the thing that I'm really here for, is to help make other people feel good about who they are. Mm-hmm. And I took that idea and created something with that. Mm-hmm. And I know that all the amazing people who are listening right now have whispers in their ear that says, go fly, go do that. That's what, or know that they're really here for some reason that may not be the standard or conventional way to live. So maybe, there's a whisper that says, you should be creating that jewelry business. You're so good at that. Everybody loves that, what you do. But they're afraid because, well, what will such and such think? Or how will I pay the mortgage? And I know those are all realistic things to worry about, but there's a way to have it all. I really think so. If you could start following that dream step by step, I'm not saying quit your job. I'm saying start following it. See how it feels and see what comes your way. Because who knows, as you start to grow something, maybe that will become the full-time thing. You never know. And then secondly, besides asking yourself, what is it that I would do if none of these bigger things that conventional society tells me I should do, what would I do? Is there's such thing as called a vision board, and these are fun. So this is a great.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun exercise. You could have a vision board party. I have girlfriends that are entrepreneur girlfriends in the city that literally throw vision board parties where you get all the magazines that you have, newspapers, you name it. You sit down with a big poster board, and you can set an intention if you want going in. You can ask a question, or you can set an intention or a vision for the next year, saying, maybe I'd like this next year to be about finding that dream or taking the first steps, or maybe that this next year is about finding love, or whatever it is, or self-acceptance. And then once you have that kind of set in your head, you look through the magazines, and without second guessing, you just pick out and you snip out with scissors what calls out to you. And you create what we used to create in, let's say, elementary school, a collage of all these different visuals. And they're extremely powerful. If you have talked to someone who has made a vision board, they'll tell you how freaked out they are about it because something about that vision board came to fruition. Yeah. Something about the vision board manifested in their life. It happened to me. It's happened to most people I know who have made them.
It happened to me. I mean, and can we talk about this for a minute about intentions? Because one of the things that happens is, and I don't know if this has happened to you, but I know it's happened to me. You know, I'll set an intention about something and then it doesn't show up. But what I've missed though is, yeah, that didn't show up, but wait a minute, something better showed up. And I can tell you exactly specific things on a vision board that didn't show up the way that I thought they would, but something better did show up. What is it about this energy of disappointment that can be an absolute showstopper? Tell us about disappointment.
Yeah.
I is right.
Well, disappointment has a lot to do with the ego and a lot to do with expectations. And I have recently learned within my own coaching, the wonderful goddess who coaches me, and from my own education in the holistic world and reading all of these wonderful experts and gurus, what I've learned is that expectation is sometimes a negative thing. And I never really understood that until more recently. And when it comes to disappointment, a lot of expectation sometimes is there, where I expected something to go in such and such a way, when really whatever you expected to happen, whoever was in the other party of it or the other side of the story may not have made the agreement that this was going to happen for you. And in that moment, you might get really disappointed, or the ego comes into play and says, well, all those insecurities that you may thought weren't true now come flushing in. When really it's just maybe wasn't your exact path. Maybe with what you just said, Dr. Pat, there was something else waiting all along. And this happens a lot. This happens not just in businesses or careers. It happens with love. It happens with personal development all the time. So my recommendation when it comes to disappointment is, one, I mean, anybody who knows me knows that I talk to myself all the time. I'm pretty good company.
Me
but
too.
I do have to have conversations with myself. So if I feel the rise of disappointment, if something didn't go one way, or I feel my ego is hurt, or I feel I had maybe placed expectations that were never expected to actually come, and I find myself disappointed, I have to sit down and talk and say, Kel, it didn't go this way, but it doesn't take away anything that you're creating. And let's just hope or believe that because this didn't work out, something else will. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying to completely stop feeling the pain. If there's pain there, you feel it hard, and you meditate on it, and you take a kickboxing class, or you do what you got to do to get that out. But I encourage you that if the disappointment comes, to not let it then cause a very negative tidal wave to everything else, where it doesn't justify everything,
Yeah, I love what you're talking about, because I've shared this before, Kelly. It is like on my 5th birthday, I got a pair of boxing gloves, and I never really understood, in this middle part of my life that I was at, I never really understood how important that gift of boxing gloves was for me. To this day, I own a pair of boxing gloves. And what you just said, I'm just reminded, I love to shadow box. Now, what does that mean? Doesn't mean you're hitting anything, but something's happening with that energy. It is an energy that I have come to know is a sense of empowerment. I would love for you to talk a little bit about how setting this vision creatively, and by the way, for those of you out there, I know we just gifted away a special time that you'll have with Kelly, but if you want to get some help with this, you can work with her. See, you can work with her. You can call her. You can get this done. I didn't even, Kelly, what is the best way for people to call you so that they can set up a way to set this intention? Because it is a big energy this year. Big.
Oh,
epic.
yeah. I have a lot to say about that. So let me just let everybody know, and I encourage everybody, contact me away. Because if, whether it's working one-on-one or joining one of my groups or whatever teleclass I do, I'd love to connect. I talk to everybody. I'm a big, what they call in Yiddish, I'm a big yenta. So I like to talk. So you can contact me at shineonwithkelly.com. Feel free to email me at kelly@shineonwithkelly.com. That's my email address. But feel free to private message me on Facebook too. Go friend me right now. I'll totally say yes. Kellyanne Wadler or Shine On Wellness, and hit me up and we'll get talking. But what you said about then, yes, there is something empowering about, the shadow boxing. You're getting in a role with your physical body that's then being connected to your spiritual self of releasing and getting out. And I think when we talk about this year to come, how important it is that when we feel good about ourselves, then we are the light that shines on to a world that may not be feeling so good about themselves right now. We got a lot going on. So another driving force that I think to dedicating a year of self-discovery and letting go of what doesn't serve you is that it doesn't just serve you, it helps others. Because when you feel good, right, we know that when you know that person that walks down the street, it doesn't matter what they physically look like, that person that walks down the street and they catch your eye because there's something radiating about them, there's something shining about them, there's something that makes you happy just by feeling their energy, that is possible for you if you follow and are in line what your true calling is and what truly makes you feel good. So it's not just self-serving to follow your dreams and be who you want to be and celebrate who you are. That light that shines when you feel good carries on to other people. And we are in a time on this earth where the more light carriers we have, the better, because the shift is happening. And I know you feel it, right, Dr. Pat?
Oh my God, I feel it, and you know what I love about this? I feel it as a shift is coming, but I also feel something really different this year. I feel that whatever that idea is, which is going to contribute to some aspect of higher consciousness on the planet or gratitude or support, that idea is already done. And what I'm sensing, Kelly, is, your job and my job is just to help remind people that it's already done. Mm-hmm. We're living in a time now where everybody talks about the speed of communication, but we do not talk enough about the fact that ideas are in such a place of doneness that the model that we have today for trying to figure out the how doesn't work much anymore. We are really about now getting clear and then doing. What do you think about that?
The action, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you're absolutely right that the awareness of this was happening for a while, and now it's all about the doing, which is, or the action, taking action. And that's exactly what we're talking about in terms of diving in, is feeling invited and giving yourself permission to take action on the things that you want to do for yourself this year. Because really, at the end of the day, we could talk a lot about doing, but it's always the act of doing it that matters, right?
I love it. What a great show, Kelly. It's so great. Okay, tell folks how they can find out more about your radio show. How can folks work with you directly so that we get the quickest path to get from where we are today to where we are to go? Please, one more time, give folks information. And thank you so much for today's show.
Thank you always, Dr. Pat. Yes. So you can tune in starting in January 2016, starting January 4th, every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time on Transformation Talk Radio. I'll be airing Shine On Radio, and it'll be a big celebratory show all about what we talked about today, which was celebrating who you are, the skin that you're in, and really living and following your true calling. Before that, please connect with me at Shine On Wellness on Facebook, on Instagram at The Shine On Girl, and Twitter at The Shine On Girl. And then my website is shineonwithkelly.com. Email kelly@shineonwithkelly.com, and hit me up because I have coaching one-on-one services, group programs, teleclasses, group challenges, all of that.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Hey everybody, we're not done yet today. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.